Today we're talking about the changes made to stealth in 7 Days to Die. Let's get to it. So this isn't going to be my normal technical video. We're not going to be looking at any code or anything like that. If you want an in-depth look at zombie senses and how they detect you, which is part of stealth, you should check out my guide to zombie senses. I'll link it down below. In this video, I just want to talk about the overall changes that were made to stealth and how it feels to play stealth now, whether it's still viable, all that good stuff. First off, is it still viable? Yes, it's still viable to play an assassin stealth build. Is it as strong as it used to be? No, it is not. Let's talk about why. So now as you move, your stealth meter builds up, not in a good way. You become less stealthy the more you move. This is a fine mechanic overall, but the problem with the mechanic is it is extremely overtuned. You can't take more than a couple steps without the stealth meter just jumping up super high, as you can see in this clip here. It does not take much to increase it. And do note that in this clip, I am wearing the full set of Assassin's gear. That's why the numbers are as low as they are. If you're not wearing Assassin's gear, your numbers are going to look more like this. And trust me, you're not stealthing at all with numbers like this. It also makes a massive difference if you're playing with or without feral sense. A stealth value of 40 is going to mean something completely different to you if you are playing with feral sense on than if you are playing with feral sense off. I think this change would be fine if it was tuned way down. Like, I should be able to move much more before that meter gets to the levels that it gets to with just a few steps. This change has drastic effects on how stealthy you are. Now, before these changes, with a full set of tier 6 assassin gear and proper points in the shadows and all that other good stuff, you could be out and about and you could go into stealth with a zombie chasing after you, and the zombie would pretty much just stop dead in its tracks and lose you. That does not happen anymore. So instead of stealth being good for all around zombie control, more or less, because you're controlling whether or not they see you, it's now basically only really good for dealing with sleeping zombies. And if you don't get that one-shot kill and they happen to wake up, well, GG, because it's just going to wake up more. They're all going to know where you're at, and getting away and hiding from them is much more difficult than it used to be. And before these changes, it was also fairly easy to stealth during the day. Now, it wasn't nearly as effective as it was at nighttime. At nighttime, it was completely OP, but during the day, it was still very strong. If you found some shadows, you could stealth down and the zombie would lose you wherever you were at. One big thing that I noticed that they did change, aside from the stealth meter increasing, is that it's harder to lose zombies. They have a 100% reduction to how long they search for you, but they still seem to find you much easier than they did before. As you'll see in some of this gameplay footage that's playing in the background while I'm talking, I tried stealth with and without feral sense. With feral sense, you're not losing a zombie once it knows you're there. You can stealth just fine with feral sense and deal with sleeping zombies, once again, provided you manage to get those one-shot kills. But if you fail to get those one-shot kills, you're not losing the zombie. You have to deal with it. Feral sense is nuts to begin with, which I cover in the video that I suggested you watch at the beginning of this video. If you haven't already seen it, you should watch it after this one. Feral sense is a bit crazy if you have it turned on, how well a zombie can hear you. And with the changes that they made to stealth, you are not nearly as stealthy as you were before. So losing a feral sense zombie is nearly impossible. So like I said, it's still viable for clearing POIs where most of the zombies are asleep, and provided you have good enough gear for the game stage that you're in, that you can easily one-shot all of the zombies that you're going to run into, and you don't run into any surprises along the way. In that aspect, it's completely viable to still use a stealth build. Here's my biggest complaint though. This was a completely unnecessary change. This was a waste of time and resources to change a thing that didn't need to be changed. Let me explain why. So the stealth build, yes, it was very OP before this change. It was almost god tier, but it was only god tier in specific situations, mainly at nighttime and clearing POIs, especially clearing POIs at nighttime. It gave you absolutely no advantages if a bunch of screamer hordes break out and are attacking you at your base or whatever. It gave no advantages to Horde Night. Two other mechanics that are very very large parts of the game. On top of that, there are still builds in the game that are more broken and more overpowered than the stealth build, and I've covered some of them. There's a build which I called the Immortal God build that you're basically a mortal god. You can't really be stopped. You don't take hardly any damage. You can tank pretty much anything, and you're just an unstoppable machine. That build is arguably more powerful than the stealth build because it can be used in every single situation. Horde Knight, no problem, you're OP. Clearing a POI, no problem, you're OP. Screamer Horde, no problem, you're OP. And it is absolutely fine and perfectly acceptable to have overpowered godlike builds as end-game content for pretty much any game out there. I can't think of very many situations where this is a problem. Even in a PvP situation with this game, because I know this game does have a small percentage of people who play it PvP, this stealth build did you no good at all against other players. It's not like it made you invisible to other players. It made you invisible to zombies. The Immortal God build, or heck, even an Intel build with the stun baton, is arguably stronger in a PvP situation than this stealth build. So them spending the time to make these changes and revamp stealth when there are so many other things and problems and glitches and other stuff that they could have taken the time to work on in this game, in my opinion, spending any amount of time to basically nerf stealth was an absolute waste of time and resources and a dumb decision. And on top of that, it wasn't even a good change. Like, I could see it being justified if it was a good change, if it felt good to play stealth, but it kinda doesn't anymore. It felt really good before the change. You felt so strong and so powerful in specific situations, and that's feelings that you want to invoke in your players when you're playing a game. Now it just seems tedious and a pain to play. At this point, I would much rather play some other build that can just base tank zombies or crowd control them to absolute death. I would have much rather have seen them use the time that they spent to revamp stealth to fix more bugs that are in the game, or add more features to the game, or any number of other things that they could have spent that time on, no matter how long it did or didn't take them to actually make these changes. Anyway, that's just my thoughts on this. Let me know what you all think about the changes down to stealth. Are you mad about it? Do you not care? Did you ever play it before? Let me know what y'all think down there in the comments section. That's gonna wrap it up for this one. Hopefully you found this video helpful and informational. If you did, please consider hitting the subscribe button and notification bell so you can be notified when I upload other videos. And if you're looking for some more of my 7 Days to Die content, you can find a link to another one of my videos on the screen right now. I want to give an absolute massive shout out and thank you to all of my channel supporters for helping to keep these videos sponsor free. You all are absolutely amazing people. If you would like to become an official channel supporter, check out the links in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. If you're shy, you don't like to comment, just hit that thumbs up button and share your support. Until next time, thanks for watching.